It's LGBTQ Pride Month, and pride parades are scheduled to take place throughout the country. But there's one group that is notably being excluded from many of these events that are supposedly all about inclusion: police officers. Cities like New York, Seattle, Denver are yet again banning officers from wearing their uniforms if they want to march in the parades. Seattle Pride also won't let police on festival grounds at the end of its parade route. In Denver, police won't have their own marching section, won't be in uniform, won't be allowed to have marked cars in the parade. Supposedly that's a compromise from last year when organizers outright banned all police from taking part in its virtual march. In Albuquerque, organizers of the Gay Pride Parade there are refusing to allow the police department to officially participate by having a booth or entering a float in the parade. San Francisco Pride just changed its policy from first refusing to let cops wear their uniforms. The San Francisco Police Officers Pride Alliance said thanks but no thanks. They'd rather not march at all if they can't march in uniform. So police and organizers reached a compromise. Some command staff will now wear their dress blues and badges while marching. This real backlash against police officers, of course, started after the murder of George Floyd by now former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. Some LGBTQ activists seem to think the obvious presence of police will be too triggering for parade participants. Obviously, many police officers, including those who identify as LGBTQ, and their allies within the departments are not happy about the bans. And why should they be? When they're being forced back into the closet, so to speak, because they happen to be police officers. And now Sunday's Pride Parade in Aurora, Illinois, just had its event permit revoked and is in danger of being canceled because the city can't find enough officers who want to work overtime to police the parade. They're short about 20 cops. Maybe it has something to do with this announcement parade organizers made 2 weeks ago. Quote, "This year we made the decision that while we would continue to allow and encourage participation in the Aurora Pride Parade by law enforcement officers, we would ask that they participate without service weapons, our rules forbid all weapons, out of uniform, and without the presence of any official vehicles." Their reasoning, quote, "In short, many members of the community feel uneasy in the presence of official law enforcement vehicles as well as uniformed officers due to negative experiences they themselves or someone they know have had. Some of these experiences may be with the Aurora Police Department, some may be with other departments. Instead of their official department-issued uniforms, organizers offered a compromise saying police can wear, quote, soft uniforms like a polo shirt with a patch or logo. Of course, the Aurora police rejected that sort of ridiculous and half-hearted attempt at a compromise. Aurora Pride says its position has been misrepresented and is still trying to keep the parade as scheduled. That's hardly surprising that they can't find enough officers willing to spend their precious free time helping out in an event where they're clearly not welcome. If I were them, I'd rather be home with my kids, too. Joining me now is Andre Thomas, co-chair of the NYC Pride, which plans and produces the city's Pride March each year. Andre, thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate it. All right, so what am I getting wrong?
So there's a lot of nuance here, but I think you said the right words: compromise. We're about, and the ideal for us is having the police being able to participate in a way that shows who they are. And other organizations, other police organizations like Minneapolis, like San Francisco, were willing to make those compromises and march out of their uniforms in casual attire without weapons and still be able to identify as police officers. Other law enforcement agencies also do the same thing. So I don't think it's a necessarily unfair question. I think it's a fair compromise to say, hey, there's no dispute that our community, Black communities, brown communities, have had these negative interactions with police officers. But we want to say, hey, this is actually a measure of goodwill to show the community that we're not asking for defunding the police. We're not asking for those things. We're asking for a symbolic gesture in case to say, let's build trust and be like everyone else who's at the parade.
So I use the word goodwill, that it's somehow goodwill that they're allowing the officers to march. I mean, let's put the weapons aside for a minute, right?
Sure.
The idea of them wearing their uniforms, right, is triggering to some, et cetera. That just seems absurd to me. The idea that you're having a march about inclusivity, right? That's the whole idea, is let's include people.
Sure.
And these days, many police officers are being targeted, are being marginalized. I'm not saying it's apples to apples, but the idea, I would think, behind the mission of what you are pursuing would say, let's bring everyone in. And of course, that'll include police officers in uniform.
Sure. So I wore a uniform myself. I was a Marine for 8 years. I know the importance of, and I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So I know the importance of wearing a uniform, what it means.
And being proud of it, right?
And being
and
proud
being
of
out.
it. And being out. And
right.
being aware of it. But I know when to take it off. I know that I can take off that uniform, but I can't take off the color of my skin. I'm going to be who I am no matter what. And we're telling these police officers, are you still a cop when you take the uniform off?
But why should they have to take it off? I mean, I'm still not clear on what the argument is to have them take it off. I mean,
so think about the experience of someone who is black, who is trans, who sees a police officer. In New York, for example.
So any black person, so the point is, if there's an African-American parade, the same thing, right? There should be no cops in uniform, even if they're black.
I'll say this. In New York, for example, there was a law called the Walking While Trans Law, it was named. And if a person was trans, the police were legally allowed to, in essence, harass them. To be able to...
That law's on the books today?
It was only repealed last February. So that was on the books for many years.
But there are a lot of laws that have been on the books that no one enforces.
But this was enforced.
Okay.
And
so the point is that there are laws on the books that you don't like, right? That I don't like. We'll agree that sounds like a crazy law. I didn't even know it was on the book. But I'll take you at your word that that's effectively what the law said. Okay. That still doesn't change the fact that black people, gay people, Jewish people, white people need the cops.
Of course.
And we need to be able to say, it's a good thing that the cops want to join us in this parade. But you're saying no, because black people have had bad experiences, because trans people have had bad experiences. No go on the cops.
And we came to them and said, hey, you know about these experiences. It's recorded history, it's recent history. There are negative interactions between the cops and our community just in 2020 on Pride Sunday. Peaceful protesters were pepper sprayed. We had a protester who had their legs and arms broken by the cops. So this is not something that was happening just like 50 years ago. And so we needed to respond to the cops and say, hey, our community is feeling hurt by interactions that we've had with you. Can you at least make a step and say, hey, we want to bring the temperature down. We want to appear like everybody else who is in our parade. Every single other person, every single other group, other law enforcement agencies, we're all the same. You could even wear a T-shirt that says "Police Against Brutality," and I think that
can you wear a T-shirt that says "I support Donald Trump"?
We're a free speech parade.
Are you sure? Yes, because it sounds to me like you might say to that person, "Hey, I don't want MAGA hats." Why? Because it could be triggering.
No, because
it could be triggering.
Those groups have registered. They've never actually shown up to march.
Okay, but if they do, my guess is you guys wouldn't want them there. You don't want gays for Trump. Gays for Trump are out.
If they showed up, if they registered, if they paid the fees that everybody else does, which are nominal, show up.
You're okay with them, but you're not okay with the cops.
I'm asking for them to register.
Okay.
So have they?
I don't think so. Let's assume they register.
They can go ahead. They can more. They can
and
more
the cops,
register.
but the cops can't. But the cops in uniform can't.
We asked them out of uniform. And that's simple. It's simple. And I think it's really, I think saying out of uniform is really, it's not a matter of, okay, you can't participate at all.
I get it.
It's a matter of, it's fair.
I think you should be excited that a police officer wants to be there in uniform.
Sure. But I think you also have to think about everybody else, all the attendees, people who I've had negative experiences with the cops myself, and I've known,
So you don't want the cops. So it sounds like you're saying you just want the cops. You've had bad experiences with the cops. Let's get them out.
And we know for a fact that the cops are going to be there at our events. You can't do a large-scale event.
Oh, well, we need them in uniform. Is that okay?
We can't do that. You can't do a large-scale event in New York without police, without their presence.
I get it.
We can't tell the NYPD where to go, where not to go. It's about how they actually show and highlight in our events.
You get the final word. Andre, good conversation. I really appreciate you coming in.
Anytime.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.